Fast food used to be the emergency button. You were tired, broke, or in a rush, and it still made sense. But in 2026, that deal is falling apart because the numbers don't add up anymore. Across the 50 largest US metros, the average flagship fast food meal is now $11.56, basically a $12 meal by default. And food away from home, prices are still climbing, up 4.1% year over year. Even foot traffic is sliding. Visits to QSR chains were down 1.6% in Q1 2025. So this video isn't about taste, it's about value. And the moment value breaks, people quietly stop showing up. We're counting down 10 fast food chains people stopped going to, ranked from least worst to worst based on how badly the price stopped matching the experience. And to prove this isn't just a McDonald's problem, McDonald's isn't even the worst one. McDonald's was built on one promise. You pull in, you know what you're getting, and you spend less than you would anywhere with a waiter. That used to be automatic. But by 2026, the cheap and quick math started collapsing. A basic combo that once felt like pocket change now commonly lands in the $9 to $12 range. And in some areas, a quarter-pounder meal can push about $14. For a family of four, $50 at the drive-thru doesn't feel rare anymore. And that's the real shift. People didn't storm out in protest. They quietly started comparing. When a fast food meal costs roughly the same as a sit-down lunch deal, convenience stops being enough. At casual spots, you get a table, refills, sides that aren't upcharges, and food that feels like a full plate instead of a bag of add-ons. Once customers start doing that comparison, the drive-thru loses its superpower. You can see it in the small signals: shorter lines, less frantic lunch rushes, and parking lots that don't overflow the way they used to. And instead of defaulting to McDonald's, people pivot to grocery store hot bars, deli counters, local burger joints with real seating, or just cooking at home. An $8 rotisserie chicken feeds a family. A made-to-order deli burger can be $6. When your brand identity is the cheaper option, losing the price edge doesn't just hurt, it erases the reason people showed up. McDonald's isn't battling Burger King now, it's battling restaurants and losing. Next, we have Five Guys. Some chains didn't even try to stay cheap. They tried to go premium, and Five Guys sold that idea better than almost anyone. Fresh beef patties, hand-cut fries, free toppings, simple menu, no gimmicks. For years, people paid extra because it felt like better quality in a fast food format. But by 2026, the premium angle hit a wall. A bacon cheeseburger meal can land between $20 and $25. In major cities, it can creep toward $30. And at that point, it stops feeling like an upgraded fast food stop. It starts feeling like you're paying sit-down restaurant money for a burger handed to you in a paper bag. That's where the value breaks. No plates, no server, no refill culture, no atmosphere. Just a counter, a receipt, and the same question people keep asking: why am I paying restaurant prices without the restaurant? For a family of four, $80 to $100 at Five Guys isn't a rare outcome anymore. And when you realize that same money can buy table service at places like Red Robin or Chili's, the decision changes. Even the Cajun fries, once the fun bonus, start feeling like the only thing holding the price together. So the pattern becomes obvious. Regulars turn into occasional visitors. Occasional visitors stop showing up. Parking lots thin out. And instead of Five Guys, people choose burger restaurants with actual seating and service, local spots with similar quality and better vibes, or they cook at home where $25 makes multiple burgers. Premium fast food only works when it's still cheaper than premium sit-down. When the prices match, People pick the restaurant every time. Now, let's look at Chipotle. Chipotle didn't build its name on being the cheapest option, it built it on trust. Fresh ingredients, big portions, a transparent line where you can see what you're paying for. For a long time, that felt fair. But by 2026, a burrito bowl often sits around $11 to $14, and adding extra protein can push it to $17. For a family, it's easy to hit $60 without even trying. But the bigger issue isn't the price, it's the uncertainty. Portion sizes started swinging wildly depending on the location, the shift, and even the worker on the line. The same order could look generous one day and embarrassing the next. And when customers can't predict what normal even means, the entire experience changes. People began filming their bowls in real time, like they were collecting evidence. Social media filled up with side-by-side comparisons, tiny scoops next to normal ones. Comment sections turned into strategy guides on how to ask for proper servings without sounding rude. Chipotle became known for portion anxiety. The brand that once felt transparent started feeling like a lottery. That shift makes the transaction tense. Some customers try to watch the scoop before it hits the bowl. Others ask for more before paying. Suddenly, it's not a quick lunch stop. It's a negotiation, and nobody wants to negotiate over a $14 bowl. So people adjust. They stop adding extras. They stop taking the risk, and they replace Chipotle with local Mexican restaurants that serve consistent plates, grocery meal kits, or competitors where portions aren't a gamble. Premium pricing only works when trust is stable. Once inconsistency breaks that trust, no amount of fresh messaging can fix it. People don't pay $14 for uncertainty. Coming up next is Panda Express. Panda Express still feels like a value pick at first glance because the price you notice is often the base format. On Panda's own online ordering page for a US location, a bowl, one side plus one entree, shows as $8.60. That looks safe until you order it the way most people actually do, as a full meal. The moment you add the normal stuff, a drink, a bigger portion, or an upgrade, the total creeps into the same territory as the $12 Big Mac problem. Panda even reinforces that habit with bundles. One widely shared breakdown lists the plate bundle at $15.20 and the bigger plate bundle at $16.80, both including a drink. At that point, customers aren't comparing Panda to other drive-thrus anymore. They're comparing it to sit-down lunch deals, grocery hot meals, and local takeout spots that feel like more food for the same money. This is the pricing psychology trap. The menu still signals cheap fast food, but the checkout total starts acting like a restaurant, and it's happening in the exact range people notice most. A lending tree analysis reported by CBS News found the average fast food meal in major US cities is $11.56, basically $12 by default. One important note so you don't mislead anyone. Panda pricing varies a lot by location and order, so don't frame these numbers as everywhere. The safest, verifiable anchors are the $8.60 bowl example and the bundle prices shown above. Moving on, Panera Bread shows a different kind of problem. Panera's pricing problem isn't just that it got higher, it's that Panera started charging restaurant-level totals while still operating like fast casual. You still order at the counter or a kiosk, wait for pickup, and handle a lot of the service yourself. Panera's shift toward kiosk and digitally led ordering has been part of its modernization for years. The tension shows up most in the combo that built the brand. You pick two. On delivery menus, you pick two combinations can show $15.99 plus, depending on what you pair and where you order. That means a very normal lunch, half sandwich plus soup or salad, can land in the same price bracket as a sit-down lunch deal. And once customers cross that line, Panera stops feeling like the middle option. People start comparing it to places that bring the food to the table, refilled drinks, and clear plates. Because at those prices, the experience matters. Panera also seems to recognize that value perception is a problem, which is why it promotes lower-priced pairings like value duets, listed as $6.99 in most locations and never over $10 on Panera's own menu page. That's basically the brand trying to rebuild the missing middle. Here's a price that still feels like fast casual. Without that, the bigger ticket orders become easier to question. And this is where the category confusion hurts. When you're paying a premium, people expect premium treatment. If the experience still feels self-serve, the price stops feeling justified, especially when casual restaurants and local cafes offer similar totals with table service. Before we get into the top 5, hit like if you felt that $12 Big Mac shock. And if you want more breakdowns that expose how fast food lost its value, subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because these chains are counting on you never doing the math. After subscribing, let's talk about Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box used to own a very specific lane: late night, weird, cheap, and convenient. Tacos at midnight, a quick burger after work. The brand worked because it felt like the grab something fast option. But the $12 Big Mac problem shows up here too, because the value math stopped feeling automatic. One easy-to-verify signal is what it costs to order a basic meal. A Money Geek analysis, reported by CBS Austin, found the average price of a burger, fries, and soda at Jack in the Box was $13.75 across major cities. That puts it directly in, wait, why is this $12 plus? Territory, especially for customers who remember it as a budget stop. And when prices rise, frequency matters. Jack in the Box isn't built on special occasion visits. It's built on repeat traffic, especially late night. But across the category, visits have been under pressure. Placer AI reported QSR visits fell 1.6% year over year in Q1 2025. When the whole segment softens, chains that rely on habit get hit first. The biggest tell is what the company itself has been doing. In April 2025, Jack in the Box announced a plan that included a block closure program targeting approximately 150 to 200 underperforming restaurants, with approximately 80 to 120 closures projected by the end of 2025 as part of a broader performance plan. That's not business as usual. That's a brand trimming stores because the economics aren't working in too many places. So people don't rage quit, they compare. If a combo is $13 to $14, customers start asking, is this still worth a drive-thru and a bag? And more often, they replace it with taco spots, grocery hot meals, or any option that feels more justified for the money. Number 4 is Subway. Subway's pricing problem shows up the moment you look at customization. The brand was built on one promise: build your perfect sandwich. Make it exactly how you want it. Customization equals value. That was the hook. But by 2026, that same feature starts working against them. In a lot of places, a foot-long combo can land around $12 to $15. And the real trap is what happens when you order it the way Subway trained people to order it, your way. Add-on stack fast, extra meat, bacon, premium cheese, avocado. Each one feels like a small upgrade, but together they turn a normal order into a checkout surprise. Build your own quietly turns into pay for every decision. You can see the psychology shift at the counter. customers don't feel excited anymore. They feel cautious. They start doing mental math. They pause, then simplify just to stay in control. Bacon gets dropped. Extra cheese disappears. People switch from footlongs to 6-inch subs, not because they want less food, but because they're trying to escape the upcharge spiral. The line slows down because nobody knows the real total until the end. That's also why the price boards start feeling misleading. The base price becomes the headline, but it's not what most people actually pay. And once customers feel like the menu is baiting them into a higher total, trust erodes, even if the sandwich itself hasn't changed. So people replace Subway with something that feels more predictable. Grocery deli counters where you control portions and price. Local sandwich shops where toppings feel included. Pre-made wraps from convenience stores that feel like a clean $6 grab and go. When customization becomes a pricing weapon, customers stop engaging with it. The feature becomes a liability. Number 3 is Wendy's. Wendy's built its reputation on a very specific kind of trust. Fresh beef, straightforward menus, and value that felt predictable. For years, it was the chain people picked when they wanted better than cheap, without paying sit-down prices. But the $12 Big Mac problem shows up here in a quieter way. Because when a brand is known for value, even small pricing shifts feel personal. One verifiable snapshot is what a standard meal costs now. A MoneyGeek analysis reported by multiple local outlets found the average price of a burger, fries, and soda at Wendy's was $12.41 across major US cities. That puts Wendy's in the same psychological zone as the McDonald's $12 moment. Customers stop ordering on autopilot and start comparing. And Wendy's also ran into a trust problem that wasn't about food. It was about pricing anxiety. In early 2024, the company took backlash over reports tied to dynamic pricing. Wendy's later clarified it would not implement surge pricing, raising prices when demand is highest. But the damage from that headline is the point. When people even suspect prices might shift in the background, they feel played. You can see Wendy's responding to the pressure by leaning hard into value again. In January 2026, Wendy's announced a new Biggie Deals lineup with options like $4 Biggie Bites, $6 Biggie Bag, and $8 Biggie Bundle. That's basically the brand trying to re-anchor the experience back to a clear deal. Because without a dependable, safe option, customers drift to grocery hot meals, local burger spots, or just eating at home. Number 2 is Popeyes. Popeyes didn't get famous just because the chicken tasted good. It got famous because it felt fast. When the chicken sandwich craze hit, the lines proved it. People were willing to wait because it still felt like a quick win. But by 2026, the value equation breaks from two directions at once: higher prices and longer waits. On the price side, it lands in that same $12 Big Mac zone. A 3-piece meal sits around $12 to $15. The sandwich alone can be $7. And what used to be a go-to family option, something that fed 4 for roughly $20, now feels closer to $35. That's already enough to make people pause. But the pause becomes avoidance when the clock gets involved. Because Popeye's biggest issue isn't the menu board, it's the time tax. 15 minutes becomes 20, sometimes more. And when you're paying premium prices, every extra minute feels like you're being charged twice, once in dollars and again in your lunch break. A $12 meal that takes 20 minutes doesn't feel like fast food. It feels like you paid for the privilege of waiting. Then the uncertainty piles on. Missing items, wrong orders, the little questions while you're still trapped in the drive-thru. Did they put the biscuits in? Did I get the sauces? What's missing this time? The chicken can still be great when it finally arrives. but the process of getting it becomes the deal breaker. So people replace it. Grocery deli fried chicken, local chicken spots, any competitor where fast still means something. When slow service meets premium pricing, the promise collapses. Because customers aren't only buying chicken, they're buying time saved. And finally, we have Starbucks. Starbucks isn't built like a burger chain, it's built like a habit. It sells routine, consistency, and that third place between home and work. That's why price hikes hit harder here than almost anywhere else. When something is daily, even small increases stop feeling small. By 2026, a basic latte is around $6. Specialty drinks push past $8. Seasonal favorites can hit $10. Suddenly, a simple routine becomes a real bill. Go every weekday, and you're spending roughly $40 to $50 a week. That's $160 to $200 a month, about $2,400 a year. That's not coffee money anymore. That's a vacation. That's a car payment. And once Starbucks shows up on your statement next to rent and groceries, the spell breaks. So the behavior changes quietly. People don't quit Starbucks in a dramatic way. They just stop making it automatic. Daily becomes twice a week. Twice a week becomes weekends. Weekends become only when I feel like it. Then the signs follow. Shorter drive-through lines and pickup shelves that don't overflow like they used to. And replacements slide in. Local coffee shops with lower prices. Brewing at home with better beans. Convenience store coffee for basic caffeine. Even office coffee, something regular Starbucks customers used to ignore, starts feeling acceptable when it breaks the $6 per visit habit tax. Home espresso machines stop looking like a luxury and start looking like an exit plan. That's the danger for frequency-based businesses. They don't just lose customers, they lose the routine. And once the routine breaks, people replace the habit entirely. If this $12 fast food trend shocked you, watch my next video. 15 big fast food chains that are falling apart in 2026. It shows which chains are cracking and what's really driving the collapse. Click it on your screen now